Well, good afternoon and welcome. Glad to have you all here. The Apple event just finished. When I went to the announcement and clicked on the add to your calendar link, it said it was going to be 2 hours, but as it has been the last several times, it was a nice, tidy 60 minutes. So I got to watch the whole thing while I was tweaking my presentation. Hello, Helen. Good to see you. Anybody else watch the Apple event? I don't know if Bob is here, but I'm sure he did. I wasn't planning to, but at the last minute I turned it on while I was completing the presentation here for you guys. And so I will give you a little spoiler. And of course you can watch that at your leisure on the Apple site and on YouTube. So let's jump in, shall we? So today we're going to talk about how to customize your desktop. And you can change it anytime you want. You're not stuck with the same old desktop that Apple sent to you. I'm Roger Harmon with GoFor Technology, and we are welcoming you to Go for Lunch number 96. And here at GoFor Technology, we make your technology work for you. So I couldn't help but say a little bit about the Apple presentation, which was called Peak Performance. And here were the predictions: an iPhone SE3, an iPad Air, some kind of a Mac, and that was pretty much what the rumors were predicting. And so I'm in a quandary here. I was planning on doing a recap of the Apple presentation for Go for Lunch next week. So I'd kind of like to have you guys let me know whether that's something you'd like to see, because, you know, it's going to be everywhere. And I would hope that I could add a little twist to it that would be helpful, that I can customize to you, because I know what most of you do and need. But I'm just wondering if it would be overkill to do that next week. So let me know in the comments whether you think a recap of Peak Performance, the Apple event, is appropriate for next week's Go for Lunch. So here's what happened. They announced that they're going to be carrying a Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus. So you sports fans will have another source for baseball. They announced an iPhone 13 in green and an iPhone 13 Max in Alpine green. Of course, they did announce the iPhone SE as predicted, and an Apple iPad Air with an M1 chip. And then the big news that nobody really was sure about, that people were hoping, was a new Mac called the Mac Studio. So this is basically a Mac Mini on steroids. And the Mac M1 Ultra with Ultra Fusion can power that Mac Studio. And so that is going to be a good thing for any of you out there that are doing photography and need maximum power for editing and running Photoshop. And then they also announced a studio display. So this is a 27-inch monitor from Apple. So Apple only had a $6,000 monitor. So now I didn't see the price on the studio display because it was getting real close to getting live here at Go for Lunch. So I'll have to look that up. But so if you've been looking for a 27-inch iMac and you don't want to wait, you could get an M1 Mac Mini or a Mac Studio if you need all that horsepower and this new 27-inch display. And we don't know, there's actually a rumor I heard last couple of days that the 27-inch iMac, or whatever screen size it may be, may not be out until next year. So keep that in mind. But today we're going to talk about desktop customization. So when we say desktop, we also are talking about the background that's on your screen in your Finder when you first turn on your Mac, and it's also called wallpaper. So those three words kind of mean the same thing. It's what's on your screen when nothing else is there and you're just in the Finder. So how do we change the desktop? Well, we'll demonstrate all this, but the steps are to open System Preferences under the Apple menu in the upper left-hand corner, then select Desktop and Screensaver, and then you want to make sure that you're in the Desktop tab on the left, and then in the sidebar you open Apple Desktop Pictures, and then you click on any pictures that you want to set as your background. So let's just go there and see what we can see here. So I'm going to check and make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, so we've got our keynote presentation up here, but that's okay. Let's see if we can get the... So I don't know if you can see that I'm going up to the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to System Preferences. There they are. So you can see that. And then we want to go, as it says here on this slide. I'm going to move this over so I can see it better. Okay, so we want to go to Desktop and Screensaver. Okay, so here is the choices you have on the left-hand side. So the first choice are the pictures that come with the Mac. And in case you haven't noticed, in the new in Monterey, if you got a new Mac that came with Monterey, instead of having these beautiful scenic backgrounds like you see here, they have these just kind of plain backgrounds like this with kind of a colored design on it. So I'm not sure why they chose to do that. but you don't have to settle for that. You can have more. So you can choose any of these, and as they change, they will instantly change on your desktop. So I have on my Finder, so let's see if we can just move this out of the way. So we're going to have to escape from here and move this down here. And let's see if we can get rid of eCam by hiding others. And now it looks like we're going to have, so go back to System Preferences. There we go. So that didn't work the way I wanted to. Anyway, I wanted to show you my desktop, and it's not letting me see my desktop. And I can't quit eCam because that's what's bringing this whole thing to you. So some of your other choices here are you can go to Photos, and then you can just have your photos come in and change. You can go to Folders here, and so this is, for example, these are pictures of the Monterey area that I've chosen for backgrounds. And so you could have your own folder. So if you want to just pick and choose from your photos, you could create a new folder by hitting the plus button right here. So here's a new folder. You want to create the folder ahead of time, and then you would just choose the folder here, and then you could have those. Let's see if I have a pictures folder here. Yeah, so I have a pictures folder here, so I could choose this as my pictures and then click on choose, and then that would be the images that would be used in the desktop. So if you don't want the same old picture there all the time, you can click down here at the bottom where it says change picture, and then you can click on the increment of that change. So it starts at 5 seconds and it goes to every day. And then you can see in the middle here we have a minute, 5 minutes, 15, 30, and 60 minutes, also known as an hour. So you have a lot of control there if you want to have some variety in your wallpaper. So it's set on 5 seconds right now, and that's going to drive me crazy probably, so let's set it on 30 minutes. So that's the way that you can change your desktop picture. Now up here, let's talk about this. So if the picture doesn't quite fit the screen, you can use fill screen, fit the screen, stretch to fill screen, or put in the center. So make sure that you know about that little control to so when I changed it to fit the screen, I got a border on each side. So I want it to fill screen to completely fill the screen. It's funny how that works. Okay, so now we're going to go back to Keynote, and we're going to go back to Play, and there we are. Okay, so hopefully that you understand how to do that now. So you can also, another way of doing it, obviously a little simpler way to do it, is you can find an image anywhere on your Mac or anywhere. You can find it on the internet through Safari, and you right click on the image, and then you get a selection choice that says set desktop picture, and if you're in, and then it changes right there instantly. Just a right click and set desktop picture, and it changes immediately. If you're in Photos, you can also click on the share item after selecting a photo in Photos and choose set desktop picture in the drop down menu that comes from the share item, the share menu. And of course the share menu is a little square with a up arrow on the top of the square. So that is another way of doing it. So as I mentioned, you can do the rotation of your pictures, and I showed you that already. So that's just the instructions on rotating the pictures. So if you don't have photos that you want from your photos, there are lots of different companies that provide wallpaper that you can choose from. So here's a couple that I listed here. This one is called Wallpaper Wizard. It's inside of SetApp. And SetApp is a subscription system that gives you access to 120 or more apps. Wallpaper Wizard is one of those, but you can get it separately if you don't want to subscribe to SetApp, which once you look at SetApp, and if you use like 10 of the programs in there, it's worth the $9.95 a month subscription. And then there's another one called Pexels that has all sorts of wallpaper. So let's go back to that. And well, we'll just go to Safari here. And go to Pexels. There it is. So this is an example. There's dozens of these. So if you, for example, maybe you want to put a picture of a destination to which you would like to travel in the foreseeable future. So maybe when we want to go to Tahiti. So there's a bunch of pictures of Tahiti that you could put in rotation. Don't use vertical pictures, by the way. So you can see there's quite a variety here. And so if you're interested in, let's say, bicycling, cycling. See what we get there. I'm just taking these off the top of my head here. This was not rehearsed. Like working on a tightrope without a net. So, or if maybe you wanted to go camping. So, a lot of vertical pictures here, which would not be good. But these are all high resolution. And then what you do here is you just click on the little download button. And as you go through here and you see ones you like, you can click on the little heart to favorite them. So you can just search by your favorites. So that gives you an idea of other ways that you can customize your desktop wallpaper background if you don't have any pictures of your own that you want to use. So let's talk about another thing you can customize on your desktop, and that's your dock. So Alexis, who actually came up with the idea for this presentation, mentioned that many times when she's working, when the dock is at the bottom of the screen, it gets in the way. So you can move the dock to the left or to the right. And to do that, you go to the Apple menu and you select System Preferences and you select Dock and Menu Bar. Now, if you have an older operating system, this may be a little different procedure. So if you don't see that in your System Preferences on an older operating system, then it's in a slightly different place. So let's go back to our screen here, and we're going to quit Safari with the command Q, and there's Safari's gone. And now I'm going to go up to the Apple menu in the upper left hand corner. I'm going to go to System Preferences, and it doesn't look like you are seeing that. So I guess we're going to have to move this out of the way. And click on here. And you're still not seeing it. Okay. So I'm going to describe it to you. So when you're in System Preferences, you choose Dock and Menu Bar. Well, okay, this is a challenge here. I did this once before. I should be able to do it again. So let me just make a little change here and see if I can fix this. So move this out of the way. And we want to show okay, there it is. Okay, I think you can see that now. Okay, so pardon the little technical difficulty there. So you see you have lots of different controls here for the dock. You can make it larger by moving the slider. You can make the magnification excuse me, higher or lower, and that means when you select an item on the dock, I get all choked up just thinking about this stuff. When you select an item on the dock, then it will magnify as you mouse over it. But here is the point that we're trying to make in particular, and that's the position of the dock on the screen. So right now it's on the bottom, but you can easily put it on the left, or you can put it on the right. And that way, when you're bumping the bottom of your screen trying to do something, it won't pop up and get in the way. This is especially important when you're on a 13 or 14-inch screen on a MacBook, and you get like on the print dialog. On a 13-inch MacBook, you can't see the word print, depending on how large your font is. So if you've made your font as large as possible, then you can't see some things on the screen, and the dock gives you another half-inch of screen real estate to see there. So some of the other things here that you may or may not want, the genie effect is just a little of animation. You can turn that off or make it, well, I guess you can't turn it off. You can change it to the scale effect. And you can also double click on a title bar to zoom or to minimize. And you can minimize windows into the application icons. You can animate opening applications. You can automatically hide and show the dock. So this also, especially on a MacBook, gives you a little more screen real estate, because unless you go to the very bottom of the screen, the dock won't be there. But as soon as you bump the bottom of the screen, it pops up. And then You can show the indicators for open applications. Those are the little black dots that are at the bottom of the icon in the dock. It shows you which applications are presently active. And then you have this section, which is relatively new in operating systems. You'll have a vertical line on the dock on the right-hand side, and the items between that vertical line and the next vertical line, which is where the trash is, and where you can put other things like folders. In that space, those are the recently used applications. So that's kind of handy. But if you don't like that, you can turn it off. So we're not going to talk about it, but I'll just mention that here it says dock and menu bar. Now, again, yours may not say this if you're on an older operating system. So you can also adjust these different items here that are in the menu bar. And of course, the menu bar is at the very top of your screen. And it goes down here. So it gives you lots of things that you can adjust right here. And those things also can be adjusted in the general preferences. Okay. So we're going to move our keynote back up here into place. And there we are. So another thing that I have done, if I visited you, usually, is I change the time and date, which is in the upper right-hand corner in the menu bar, so that it shows the day and the date as well as the time. I see the Apple event is starting over again. So if you want to watch the Apple event, it's live. The replay is live. Little contradiction of terms there, but hey, hopefully you understand what I mean. So to do that, you go up to the time and date in the upper right hand corner, you click on it, and you get a drop down menu, which I can't see. So let me try to get back to where we're doing this. I got a bunch of notifications because I didn't turn on focus. My goodness. A bunch of notifications came on from the last 2 days. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, so let's try to go back to Safari or to the desktop here, and we're going to go to the time and the date. And actually, you're not seeing that, I don't think. Okay, so actually I'm not seeing it. So let's make sure I'm in the Finder here. Okay. All right. Well, it worked in rehearsal. What can I tell you? So we'll just describe it. It's pretty simple. So you open the time and the date in the pop-down, the drop-down menu, and then you can, one thing you can do if you like an analog clock, a round clock with hands, you can change that. But you can also click on Show Day of the Week, and that'll give you the day, the date, and the time. So there you have it. So I see there are some questions, and we will get to those. If you have any more, go ahead and type them into the comments. And please remember to share the GoFor Gazette with anyone you know that's using Apple products. This information in today's presentation might be handy for lots of people that would like to get away from the same old desktop. So Also, a little reminder to, I moved my dock and now I can't find anything, to subscribe if you haven't already. So let's look at our questions. So let's see. Hi, Chris and Bob and Stanley and Judy. Okay, so Chris is voting for a recap, and so is Bob and Judy and Susan. And okay, thank you, Chris. Chris heard what I couldn't hear because I was listening to the countdown timer music. So the display is $1,600. So I don't think many of us will be buying one of those. And Bob makes a good comment. And I got this feeling as well, that here they have a 27-inch display that you can match with any Mac, whether it be a MacBook, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, Mac Mini. You can plug into this beautiful, wonderful $1,600 display. So maybe there is not going to be a 27-inch iMac. This definitely, the Mac Studio definitely replaces the iMac Pro, and it looks like in many ways it replaces the Mac Pro, the big, tower. So there are rumors that there is a new Mac Pro coming, so that it will be blow our minds as far as what it can do. So we'll wait and see. And Susan says it might be interesting to have a tour of all your icons in your dock. You've got at least twice as many as I have. Well, that's fun. Maybe we'll do that. Actually, we could do that right now. So apparently you were seeing my icons in my dock. So let me know if actually make sure that you could see my icons, because I'm not sure you did. And Bob is saying that he has a client who has the family photo wallpaper change every 5 seconds. Yeah, that would drive me batty as well. Okay, what else have we got here? Okay. All right, Susan has a vote for hearing more about the display. So I'm sure we can definitely do that. And so Susan is mentioning that that client changing the wallpaper every 5 seconds might have issues. Yep. Okay. And Bob mentions he used to have an app called 24-Hour Wallpaper that changes the scene maybe six times in 24 hours, all with a theme or location such as White Sands, national parks, major cities, and such. And he recommends that. And Susan says, good vibes. And Susan adds that she is bewildered by all of this. I have had pictures of stones that Apple provided on my screen for many years. Well, just to go back and replay this on YouTube, Susan, to follow the steps, and you too can have a customized wallpaper desktop background. So moving the dock is a good idea. I click on the icon, click on show screenshot, bring that back up again, and usually that is sufficient for removing the dock from my screenshot. Oh, okay. And then Bob says, At the end of the Mac presentation, the man said there would be only one Mac to go for the M1 transition, and that's the Mac Pro. Well, that kind of seals the deal. 27-inch iMac longers. Okay, Judy saw the icons. Okay, good. Thank you, Judy. And Chris, as the actually said, the only Mac left in the transition was the Mac Pro. So you holdouts for the 27-inch iMac, take note. You may not be able to get a 27-inch iMac. It's going to be, and you can get a nice display and an M1 Mac Mini for the same price or less than, depending which display you get, than an iMac. So, and hopefully you would never need this feature, but if you need to take your Mac into the Apple Store or into Simutech for service, it's a lot easier to carry an 8-inch square than a 27-inch screen. I speak from experience. So, okay, so let's see if we can show you the icons on my dock. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back to the desktop. And I guess we're through with Keynote, so we can quit Keynote, get that out of the way. And okay, you can see my icons. So the first thing I'm going to do, I believe the icons are larger when they're on the bottom. So I have a 28-inch screen, so that's why they're larger, because they automatically adapt to, you know, the space that the screen provides. So when they're on the sides, there's not as much space. So let's first go into the dock and menu bar and put them back on the bottom. There they are. So now they're bigger. You can see them easier. So what do I have on my dock? Starting from the far left, I have the Finder, the Happy Mac. Then I have Mac Mail. Then I have Safari. And then I have two other browsers. So I have Firefox in case a page doesn't work on Safari. I can go to Firefox. And then I have Brave, which is a relatively new browser. So many of you may have gone to a link that you got, and Safari says cannot open page due to content blockers. So when I see that message, that's when I use Brave, because it seems to not be as concerned about those as Safari is. So the next one is Messages, which of course are your text messages that you can use here as well as on your iPhone and iPad. Then Apple Maps, Photos, FaceTime, Apple Calendar, Contacts, Reminders, Notes, Apple TV, Music, Podcasts, Apple News, and then the iWork bundle of numbers, the spreadsheet, Pages, the word processing, and then we have the Apple Store. And then I have two versions of Ecamm Live, which is the software I use to produce this YouTube live video. So this is the regular version, and then I'll talk about the other version here when we get to it. There's my system preferences. So here's the little dot. You see the little black dot below that we talked about that you could turn off in right here. Show indicators for open applications. So if I uncheck that, you see that black dot goes away. And it's back. So that's System Preferences, and then I have Keynote. And then this is the beta version of eCam. So eCam has a very active development program. They're always updating things, and traditionally their betas have been so stable that I haven't hesitated to use the beta in my production, which I'm doing right now. I've never had a problem with a beta from them because they don't release betas that aren't pretty solid. And here is Zoom, the calculator. Then this is the program that I use for making paper airplane. No, this is the program that I use to mail the GoFor Gazette, which comes to you every Monday morning about 7 o'clock. That, again, I'd like you to share with other people. And then this is my primary note-taking app, which is Evernote. Then this is the Evernote Web Clipper, which allows me to clip things off the web right into Evernote. This is camera settings for my Logitech cameras that I am not presently using. And this is a interesting program. It's called And it's something to add a little zip to any kind of video conferencing like your Zoom meetings. And then this is 1Password 7 and Text Expander. And then this is the section that I was talking about, which is the last selection here on the dock and menu bar pane. Show recent applications in the dock. So this is what I was talking about. So you can see there's a vertical line right here. You can see the little double arrows, and there's a vertical line right here, and then the trash can to the right. So these are things that have been used recently. This is Clean My Mac X, and this is Discord, which is a kind of a social networking platform that several of the programs that I'm involved in use as a way of communicating outside of like Facebook. And this is Snap Camera. And I haven't used Snap Camera for a long time, but it just kind of sticks there. So let's see if we can tell it to go away. So we're going to click Remove from Dock. Now, if you find something here in your recent applications section and you want to make it permanently appear in the dock, what you would do is you would right-click on it, you would go to Options, and you would click on Keep in Dock, and watch what happens. Bam! It moves to the other side of this line, and now it's always going to be there. So that is a tour of my dock. So let's go back here and I get that out of my face. And so let's get caught up on our comments. Bob is thinking that the Mac Studio is the Mac Mini Pro. I would heartily agree. So Chris says the low-end Studio plus an LG monitor could be a good substitute for the 27-inch iMac. And upon Chris's suggestion, because he has one, and Susan has an LG monitor, I installed an LG monitor for another client, and actually 2 other clients. So they seem to be working. I haven't heard any complaints. And Susan says she loved the old it's a Thunderbolt display, but it stopped working and could not be repaired. That's sad. I fortunately still have a 27-inch Thunderbolt display connected to my old MacBook Pro. And as I mentioned, Susan has the LG monitor, and I strongly recommend this to everybody. that if you're looking for a 27-inch iMac, you may want to get, maybe you've decided you'd rather have a portable computer than a desktop computer. You can get a MacBook of any variety and get a 27-inch or even larger. I've seen 32-inch monitors for not that much more than 27-inch monitors on sale. Get a large monitor to go with your MacBook, and you have the best in both worlds. When you want portability, you can just close the screen and off you go. And when you want to see things bigger, especially since some of us, me included, don't see as well as we used to, then you can get big font sizes on that big monitor without losing a lot of, making the window so large that you can't see the whole thing. So, thank you, Susan. I'm glad you learned about the Brave browser. Say that 3 times fast. Okay, well, thank you for the participation today. That makes this more interesting for everybody, and glad to have you here. So it looks like we will do a recap. I'll dig deep in, as I always would and always do, into all the different resources out there that will be reviewing the Apple event, and I will cherry pick the things that I think will mean the most to you guys. So if you have any questions or any suggestions about things that you'd like me to concentrate on that recap of the Apple event, you can email me or you can call me, and that information is coming to you on the screen below. Have a great week.